right, welcome back everybody to the Iron Sermon. We got a poolside at the Flamingo with us today. Um, kind of introduce yourselves. Tell us what you do in the band, each y'all.
Sounds good. I'm Scotty Bohnen. I'm the vocalist of Poolside at the Flamingo, and yeah, I scream and growl and anything you want. I got that microphone. I can just do it. So, but then my
Badass.
Danny, my twin, is my brother too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Sweet.
we're coincidentally twin brothers. We don't look alike, but we're
Yeah,
fraternal twins.
I got the bald
Um,
head. See, and he has the
yeah.
hair.
So yeah, I'm Danny. I play guitar, um, and also basically write all the music too. So, uh,
Mhm.
yeah. And
Cool.
we have two other members that aren't here: Rudy, who plays drums, and David, who plays bass. Rudy's pretty technologically, you know, probably would be a chore getting him on here correctly.
Nah,
And
Yeah.
no worries.
I
No
don't
sweat.
know.
It's still really
So,
good to have you both.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
thanks.
We're
Thanks.
definitely more of like the presenters of the band and kind of the talkers, and Danny books it. We write the music together, and
Okay.
but obviously once we need all four of us to make everything work. So
Yeah.
hmm
So, tell us how the band came together and what it's like performing music as brothers.
go for it,
Uh,
Danny.
yeah, I mean, gosh, we started long ago and it has morphed through so many bands
hmm
through
Yeah,
such a long time. So
we started
we've
like
been,
middle school.
yeah, we've been poolside
Wow.
at the Flamingo technically since about 2005 or so, with a lot of hiatuses since then. But yeah, like Scotty just mentioned, him and I were in a band in middle school.
Yeah,
And actually, our drummer Rudy was in another band that we would play shows with every now and then. He was a year or two older than us, so we didn't, when you're that young, you don't really hang out with people that aren't your age. And
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and as we came up, different iterations, Scotty and I were always in a band together, but then uh, first we were called Out for Blood. After a while, there was some other band names before that, but Out for
Mhm.
Blood. And
And then
Scotty
we
actually
found out
wasn't
there's
a
a few
part of
other
that.
bands named that.
Yeah, in the
It's a cool
beginning,
name.
yeah, but then there were some other bands named that. So I did vocals in that band, and our drummer was still the same drummer, and then we had different other members. And at the same time as that band was going on, Scotty and I and the same drummer had a different band that we sort of liked better, and so
Yeah,
we pretty much consolidated the bands, kept the name Out for Blood, kicked out a couple members, and we did a few tours that way, and then yeah, we changed the name after a while. So, but that's where it all started. Was honestly
Wow.
back in middle school, and our Scotty and I's parents. You can tell them, Scotty. I mean,
yeah, yeah. Our parents own and operate a dinner theater in Longmont, Colorado. So it's like a you come and see shows, you eat dinner. They mainly do like musicals and like family oriented
Uh,
shows. But so you might have them around there in Texas, and it's just like any kind
hmm
of theater, like musical theater. But we
hmm
talk our parents into like once a month or even twice a month to like clearing out all the chairs and tables and hosting metal shows for us. And we talked them
awesome.
No
into
way.
it, and we might have put a few holes
yeah.
in walls and
hmm
knock some guys out in the pit and stuff. But yeah, we like religiously did like one show a month there, and we packed that place with like 300 kids. I mean, that was like the
Yeah.
heyday of metal, and
It was when we were all in
geez,
high school, so we were
Yeah.
yeah,
like in high school
That's
passing
a
out flyers and shit. Yeah,
yeah,
crazy
dropping
So,
flyers
setup
in
to
cars.
have.
man,
That's
yeah.
so sick.
I gotta ask on that note. Y'all have the video "She Walks the Woods" for Slam Worldwide. Is that where y'all got the inspiration of like
That,
wearing the suits and then
that's
like
Yeah,
going
actually
like?
that's actually where we filmed it. We filmed it at my
Okay,
parents' theater
it's
in front
yeah,
of
Oh,
it's
their in
it,
front of the
nice.
that's
curtain there.
cool.
it's called
Uh,
Jester's Dinner Theater in Longmont. Yeah,
Yeah, actually, the inspiration, honestly, we just want to we try to keep things sort of light on when we present ourselves. Obviously, the music's very heavy and very not light, but
Yeah,
we sort of like try to keep it fun, and
hmm
so we wanted to make a video. We're like, oh, let's make it fun, and we've done a couple videos since then, and they're fun too. And but that one, when we were thinking about it, I actually had a Weezer Buddy Holly video long ago, like way back in the day when I used to watch MTV. They did something similar where they were playing
I
basically.
remember that.
I think they're playing in like a
Yeah.
diner in it though, and it's sort of like Happy Days style with the Fonz and the
Yeah.
jukebox, and so we sort of wanted to do something like that. It was pointed out to us later that Bury Your Dead did something similar with suits and stuff. I was like, I didn't fucking know about that.
I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But we
see,
did.
there's so much out there, so it's hard to like, you still have original ideas without knowing about other
Yeah.
things, and it's just coincidental that sometimes shit
Yeah.
like that, it's just,
Yeah.
what are the
But we
chances?
did.
But
But we did have four identical plaid suits with like slacks that was in the costume shop at the dinner theater that
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
used. So we're like, hey, we got to use these suits, man. They're like, whatever, the 40s, 50s style. And we
Mhm.
Yeah.
figured we actually were going to do it that way the whole time. And like, no, we have to like go into like when like some breakdowns come
Yeah.
in and like
That's what's
Yeah.
roll up the
badass.
sleeves. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy because like when I first saw it, y'all come on and it's so calm and like it looks like some like you see on like the Titanic movie or some shit. And then
Yeah.
y'all just melt people's faces, man.
Yeah. And then it goes in, yeah, and it's like all like smiley and funny, and it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
It's
go
pretty
into
cool,
it.
man.
that was a
It
favorite
throws
for
people
sure.
off for sure. So yeah, that was the inspiration for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
so y'all's band name is super unexpected for like grindcore. How did people usually react when they hear it?
It,
Oh, it's
I mean,
always a thing.
yeah, it used to be more of a thing back in the day. Well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
because
it
no
used
one
to be.
knew. That's because no one knew who we were, and back then these names were more common. That's when the MySpace deathcore era, where it was like, oh,
Yeah.
you have See You Next Tuesday, you have I Wrestled a Bear Once, you have the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza, you have all these ridiculous names for these super heavy
Hmm.
bands, and we sort of were in that vein. It's like, oh, let's go with the like an unexpected name. And so we would back in the day show up when we were on tour to play shows. And when we used to tour back then, it was all booked through MySpace. and
Hmm.
Yeah,
so you would literally, the way we would book tours is we would plan a route and then we would reach out to, it was easy to reach out to local bands in any city with MySpace.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you could type in a city, you could search like deathcore or metal there, and then it would just show you a list of bands in the area, and you could easily just start messaging them. Hey, we're coming through on this day. You guys have like a DIY venue? Can we play? Can we crash at someone's house? Blah blah blah, and
Hmm.
and we would like set up tours that way. And then of course, after you've done it once or twice, like you get to know some people and some friends, and then you just contact them directly. Oh, hey, we're coming through. Can you set us up at like the fucking VFW again? And
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we'd go through multiple times and just we toured a ton from like 2005 to 2011. I mean, like 3 weeks at a time, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and it was
well, I think 3 to 4 weeks, but
I think
two
three to
two to
four weeks
four
was the
weeks we
best.
would go out for
Yeah. So we
and do that.
finally like kind of implanted our name, this poolside band,
Yeah.
with
Well,
like, who
so
the
when
hell
we
are these
show
guys?
going back to it, when we would show up and play, yeah, we'd arrive and people be like, "Oh, when the fuck is poolside the Flamingo?" We always play like in the middle somewhere, second or third, and yeah, we would definitely get these like hesitant looks. But after we played was always the best because then people would be like, "Oh, you guys are fucking awesome! Like, let me buy a
Yeah.
shirt and all this shit." And so
And you
it
guys
was,
probably, yeah,
yeah, it
you
was
guys
just.
probably know. Go
Go
for it.
ahead.
Sorry.
I was saying it was just more of a thing back then. I think now, I'm not saying like a ton of people know about us, but like enough people know about us now where they're not really surprised or anything like that. And you
Yeah.
guys know these days you can just
Hmm.
check out a band immediately online when
Hmm.
you hear them. And I think back in the day when we would play, no one had even like looked us up one bit, and they were just like
Yeah.
going raw dog. So
Yeah.
So that actually is a perfect lead up to my next question. For someone just kind of like stumbling across y'all's music, like me actually, found y'all on Instagram. What's
Nice.
one song you would recommend people to hear first?
Oh God. See, we just keep Danny keeps writing the songs and they just keep getting better and better. Just from my
Hmm.
perspective. I mean, when we started with Out for Blood, it was like heavy metal. Then it like the first CD of the first like I guess recording of Poolside was kind of like death metal grindcore. Now it's just
Hmm.
gone into like a mix of everything. Like
Hmm.
it's just
yeah,
getting heavier and heavier and heavier.
I'm
So I think our most recent song is my
yeah,
favorite, my
I'm
personal
always
favorite.
I'm
Um,
always a fan of like the latest song we wrote.
yeah,
As a person who writes the songs, I always am like thinking most of the time that the newest song is the best song. That's not always the case. We did
Yeah.
last year or a year and a half ago now. Last year we released an EP called Acabadora, and it's a four-songer. And I actually think the first song I wrote off that album was the first song on it was Acabadora, and that ended up being like my favorite song after I they sat with me for a while. And
Hmm.
Hmm.
so that wasn't really the case there. Like if you're to, if so before we wrote these two new songs, if you were to ask me or release these two new songs, then I would have said that one. But yeah, but I think it's a gimme on either of these two. So we have one releasing probably by the time anyone hears this, it'll be released because it's literally releasing tonight at midnight. But I
Hmm.
sent it to you guys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that I would say either that or the one just before it that we released called "Here Comes the Meat Wagon" just a little bit
Yeah.
ago. And so they're both. I would accept. I would accept either. Like I would recommend either of those
Yeah.
two.
I like
But
both.
definitely those
I
two.
I think I like my current favorite is Here Comes the Meat Wagon, which is the first
Yeah.
one, which is our newest one. I get into that one the most. But then if you want to go old school, like if you like want to hear in like 2005, 6, on our 2006 album, I would say like Dinner at Dorsia or Do You Like Phil Collins? Those are the two.
Yeah.
If you want to go old, Phil
Yeah,
Collins,
those
and
are really
then
old.
new Here Comes the Meat Wagon. So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
For sure. When did you guys kind of realize that y'all had something special as a band?
Man,
What was that moment that
Yeah,
like got y'all?
I think it was like the first time we paired up with our drummer officially. So Scotty and I were in a like so going back to the high school days, we had middle school, high school days, we had this band. Actually, the name at the time was Insepid. It's not even a real word. I don't know why we called it that. But
I just made it up.
it was Scotty and me and our cousin played drums who was like sort of into metal, but not really. Like he was, so it was all right, but and then we knew of this other drummer, like I said, who was a little older than us and was playing in bands, and he's just like a really good drummer.
We went through like three different drummers to really find
Yeah. And
him.
and me and his like taste in music were super aligned too. Like we were really after the more heavy shit and back then, and this is when like a lot of people weren't in at least in our scene weren't quite getting into it yet. They were still into like not that it was bad, but they're still into like Slipknot and Mudvayne and all this sort of like newer metal.
Fear
And we're like,
Yeah.
Factory and yeah, Head
yeah.
Key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were like, no, we were listening to other shit. He was more into like black metal, but I was more into like hardcore at the time and stuff. And so yeah, we and it was when we finally were like, all right, let's just jam in a band together. And then he started learning a couple songs I had already written, and it just started coming together like magic. I was like, oh yeah, like this is the partnership that we've been needing for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
I
honestly it was sometime back in like fucking 2001 or something like that, 2003, who
yeah.
knows.
And then
Yeah.
when Out for Blood started, then we first started really hitting it hard with Poolside, and we got the reactions from like the crowd. That's when I knew we had something special. When people would just come up to me after the shows. This was between like 2006 and 2010 or whatever, and they would just be like, "Dude, what the fuck just happened? Oh my God, I don't even know what that was. Like, you're sweating your ass off. You can't even like, oh, that was crazy. My mind is blown." And we used to have like
That's
this
awesome.
tagline, like we like shredding your face off, melting your face. We do like
Hmm.
little quotes from like Saturday Night Live, and we'd always like put like melting your face in with the quotes or something, and
Hmm.
people were always like, you did melt my face. And so it was just, I knew we had something special after we had like the live performance reactions, because like I love our recordings, but I think seeing any band live, it's always better, and I think that goes for us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all
But
speaking on that, do y'all write with the live performance in mind, or do y'all just kind of hit it raw in the studio?
I definitely write with the performance in mind for sure, especially with technology these days. Like our writing process has totally changed. It used to be before all of this like computerized technology that we would
Hmm.
write sort of as a group. Not quite. Like I would come up with some riffs. I'd meet up with our drummer. I would show them to him. He would like try to drum to it. We'd like sort of figure out together, and it would be this mesh. He might play something I wasn't really picturing, but it ended up being fine, and or even better. And then that's how the songs would come together little by little. It took a lot longer then too, though. But nowadays with technology, it's like, oh, I could sit here and write out my whole vision and send it to him and
Hmm.
them, and then like accept feedback. Like, hey, he could be like, oh, on this part, like I would probably play it this way, or maybe you could change this a little bit. Because now you can write drums and we do that for like demo purposes.
Yeah.
You can write drums in there. You can write bass in with digitally. You can pretty
Hmm.
much create everything like inside of a DAW, and then
Yeah.
just show it to everybody and be like, hey, what do you guys think? Like, and then if everyone's cool with it, then you're just like, all right, learn it, let's play it.
Yeah.
What
Oh,
But
it's
so
software do you use?
yeah, because you're able to do that, um, you can take a lot of what you can do digitally and use it in your live performances now. Because back in the day, and some bands still do this, and amen to them. But back in the day, we just like got up and played, no click tracks, no in ear,
Hmm.
no laptop, like nothing. We would just like
that's
I'd
how it
have
always
to
was.
we just look at Rudy, the drummer, and we would just play. And
Nice.
3 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah, and
There you go.
nowadays you can still do it that way. Like I like to think we could still do it that way if we had
Oh
to,
yeah.
but to make the live performance a little bit cooler, we run off like a click track. We have the in-ears, we have a laptop that sends tracks to the front of the house to the PA system. And so we can put our samples in, we can put the bass drops in, we can put all these things in and they're perfectly on time. And so yeah, when I'm writing on the computer, I'm like, oh, what can we put in here that it's so easy to put
Hmm.
it in and leave it in because we're just running the set off like a laptop now. And
Yeah.
so
It's great. It's
yeah,
great because you send me a complete song, and it's kind of funny. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. He sends me like a complete song, and it's like heavy, and I'm like blasting it in headphones as I'm writing the lyrics. And I have like I sometimes I put my mic on, and so I can hear myself, and I'll be
Hmm.
like screaming in my office, but my kids will just hear me screaming, and they're like, Is everything okay, Dad? What's going on in your office?" No, don't worry. So I actually, when I'm doing the lyrics to our new songs, especially, I feel like I do it like all out, like I'm actually in a live performance. Like, how would
Hmm.
this feel? How would that feel? Like,
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
the crowd dig this part if I sang it this way? And then I like sing it. Actually, I can hear myself. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Um, but like before, yeah, we did it like the old school, like this one badly. We like recorded in a basement with like all of us
yeah,
together.
it's pretty
Yeah.
much
So
a
it's
live recording. And
live
yeah, but
recording, but yeah,
that's
so
really
it's
where
much
the
better
reward
now.
that's where the reward comes in is playing the shows and just confirming how the audiences you think they're going to react, and then they do react that way. So it's like, oh, I got to put this part in here if that's going to open up the pit, like I got to do this, and then when it
Hmm.
all works, that's yeah. Unfortunately, we can't tour as much as we used to because of families and everything, but we still
Yeah.
like to play
Yeah.
shows as much as we can,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's the
Ah,
real payoff.
the old heyday when we were like 17 to like 22, and we were just no
or
kids,
or older.
no obligations. Like, I'm gonna hit the road and fucking go for it. Now,
Yeah,
wife, 2 kids. It's like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, if we had the chance with like a bigger band or something, but it's still, we still
Hmm.
do the weekenders and stuff. So that's
Yeah.
still fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
For
Yeah.
sure.
so with being like super busy like that, what are y'all doing outside of y'all's music industry?
Well, Scotty and
Go,
I actually
go
run a
for it.
business together. This is really random. Like we have a band together. We do this. We
Hmm.
before the show we were talking about how we do this podcast every now and then
Yeah, we do podcasts together.
we have and we also have a business together. So that's sort of how we pay the bills. We have like a
Hmm.
wall art business. You guys can check it out if you want.
Oh, sweet.
legendarywallart.com, and we
Yeah.
partner
Okay.
with like artists and photographers, and we feature their work on canvas art, and we have it
Hmm.
manufactured in the U.S. here and ship it out, and a lot
Sick.
of cool pop culture stuff. And so yeah, so we run a business, and then
Custom
we also
canvases.
we also have both have families. Our wives are like best friends, and our kids are best friends too, cousins. And we
Hmm.
live like 10, 15 minutes away from each other.
We're pretty
And
much best friends too. We like
That's
work
yeah,
out
Yeah.
awesome.
together. We
That's
work out
cool.
together. We have a band together. We have a business
yeah.
together. We're not sick of
Very
each other yet,
tight
right?
knit, tight knit.
Yeah. Yeah. The wives don't like this our type of music at all, but they love to come to the shows and support. And
They
That's
Hmm.
they
cool.
s- I think there's like a they like it here and there. I think
ah,
they have a little soft spot for it for sure.
yeah,
We'll
maybe
get used to
so.
it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good.
We haven't
My
brought our
my
kids out
girlfriend
yet
did,
though.
so
Did she? That's good.
well,
Really?
you said they're 6 and 3, so they'll probably get into it around probably when y'all did middle school, if they do. So
Yeah. And we haven't,
maybe.
like Scotty said, we haven't really taken them to shows yet. I have a 7 and 8
Yeah.
year old, and I think they're right on that cusp where I could put the like earmuffs on them, and because it's so
Yeah.
loud,
Mhm.
and yeah, bring them
That
Of
out.
course,
just
we
Definitely
kind of.
yeah
definitely the live show that brings you in.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
Of
what
course,
caught
we
me.
we
And
had we had our kids in our Acabadora music video. I don't know if you guys saw
Yeah, I don't
that
know
one
if you guys
where
caught that one.
Uh-uh.
That we did
mm-mm.
a music
we'll have to
video
send it to you.
for. Yeah, I'll send you the link. We did a music video for that song. Again, we like to keep it light, and so
Yeah.
Mhm.
that was our latest like sort of produced music video, and it's us on that same stage because we just used our parents'
That's cool.
building that they still had.
Mhm.
It's us performing the song mixed in with clips of them acting like they're performing the song on toy instruments.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like
So
that.
it goes like back and forth. Like my daughter is singing and she's like doing the headbang with like the
Yeah.
Oh,
breakdown. Then
that's
it
cool,
goes like to
man.
me
That's so
singing, then her
cool.
singing, and it's pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
they're all,
That's
this
actually
was
super
like,
cool.
yeah, this was like a year and a half ago. So they're all like Scotty's youngest plays the bass and he was like two,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
And
Right.
Yeah,
so it was
super
a,
sick.
yeah, it was a hoot.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Um, what do y'all think is most widely misunderstood about the extreme metal music genre that kind of pushes people away and you kind of want to clear up?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people like even like just talking about the music video, like we got
Hmm.
comments on it like, "Oh, you're pushing your kids towards the devil and you're doing this." Like some people, I don't know how it got to some people that didn't like metal or like
Hmm.
deathcore or whatever, but somehow some people got on there that obviously, deathcore and our genre is not their thing, and they
Yeah.
like thought the negative right away. Oh, you're pushing your kids towards the devil. They're gonna end up, horrible lives, and they're gonna do bad things. I'm like, no. A lot of people that just don't know the genre don't like take it in like the wrong way to where they think it's just like bad, negative energy
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
music. And I think it's the opposite. I mean, it's without metal, some of these kids that are off the street would be doing drugs and drinking every night and
Hmm.
dying with like overdoses, but instead they have
Yeah.
the outlet to go to local metal shows to freaking get a workout in the pit and create bands of like their own, and it's like a movement, I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
deathcore, I mean, the genre, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, it's bigger than it ever was now, and it's
Hmm.
an outlet. Like people have theater as an outlet. People play soccer as an outlet. People play baseball as an outlet. We play metal for an outlet, So I think
Hmm.
Yeah.
people just misunderstand it, and like the old age, like like my parents and like their era, they just don't understand. And it's like my aunt and uncle. It's like so. I think, um,
Yeah.
that
I think
that's
we're
good.
coming
You
into
guys know what I'm
more
saying?
with the generations changing and sort of the older
Yeah.
ones going away. There'll probably be a shift, but yeah, when we got
Yeah.
a couple of those comments, I thought it was nuts that there's still people out there living in the 70s thinking that like it's
Yeah.
devil music. You know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
devil music? Like, what are you guys talking about? And they don't realize how depending on what you're seeing, how positive most scenes are, especially like the hardcore scenes. We love playing with hardcore
Hmm.
bands, even though we're not technically like considered a hardcore band, but we usually vibe well with them and obviously on the outside it can look very aggressive. It's like, oh, there's
Hmm.
listen to the music and then you go to the shows and there's crowd killing and there's all this
Yeah.
stuff. But then they're the first people to like pick you up off the ground when
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
fall, you know? And so there's a lot of camaraderie there that people just don't understand.
Oh yeah. The
Yeah.
nicest people I've ever met are people at shows and other bands that are just tearing it up, and they act angry. Like I act angry on stage, and it's just like
Hmm.
that. It's just how it is, and it's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
good feeling. But then you talk to them afterwards, they're like, "Oh hey man," and it's like most genuine, cool people I've ever
Yeah.
met. So it's
Yeah.
just yeah.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
We
so
just
So
interviewed a
that's a good
band
question.
called Tin Scoops out of Houston, and their lead singer is actually a pastor at a church,
Oh,
and
ah,
they're they're considered like Christian metal is kind of what he was
yeah,
saying, but it's nowhere near like what you would think it is, and
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
not. It doesn't really have those themes,
Yeah.
but there's some definitely like we talked about one of their songs and their message behind it, and it was just like. I mean. that's just something for everyday life in general. Like really badass. Like you wouldn't know, and just
Yeah.
their
Yeah,
style in
exactly.
general can be
We
so
actually,
misunderstood.
it's funny
Yeah,
that
totally, man.
back when I mentioned this before, when like the drummer and I first got together, we're on the same page. People were listening to more of the new metal stuff. The
Hmm.
heaviest stuff at the time coming out was from hardcore Christian bands. Like it was,
Yeah.
you
Well, we
had to
played with
seek
tons of
that.
hardcore Christian bands. They're
Yeah,
great.
you had to seek it out, and they were writing the heaviest music at that time. It was like it was the first two albums from Under Oath. Then they went soft, but then it was like, oh, Overcome and Point of Recognition and all
Yeah.
these other
Living
Living Sacrifice
Sacrifice.
and
Yeah.
Zao and these bands that were sort of paving the way for heavier music at the time. They were all
And
Christian bands.
and the
Yeah.
thing too is they sound the same if you put them against someone else. It's
Yeah,
just the
Hmm.
label that it's a Christian metal band and a
Oh
metal
yeah.
band. So I
Yeah.
mean, really, it's
yeah.
no different.
No,
No,
Yeah.
it
no.
isn't. No, they sound just as heavy, just as
Exactly.
it's the
Exactly.
same thing.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
definitely get like a. Well, there's definitely bands out there, that are,
Yeah.
and so
Pretty
it's
dark,
a mix.
but
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Don't
But
get me
once you
wrong.
get
I
into
mean,
it,
doesn't
yeah,
mean that because I listen to them, I participate in those things,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
I think it's
there's
exactly.
funny if I've read posts where it's like, has anyone ever really listened to like Infant Annihilator lyrics? And I'm just sitting there like listening to them,
Yeah,
and apparently it's all about like killing and eating babies and stuff. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, no, I was just
It's
enjoying that
Infinite
music.
Annihilator. Yeah.
exactly. Just listen
That's
to
what
the
they're
music.
Yeah.
called, you know?
But like I
yeah.
listen to like a lot of black metal and shit,
Yeah,
but there's and then of course like Carrie King
Yeah.
and stuff, but I mean
Mhm.
it's not it's just I like the way it sounds
Yeah,
and
no,
exactly.
same
Yeah.
here,
but
man. Same here. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
I
just
don't
a whole
participate in the
thing.
upside down cross and all that stuff, but I like the
Hmm.
way the band sounds, but I don't it's not like I like preach what their
Yeah.
lyrics are or stuff.
Yeah.
So
You're just appreciating their art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
I've always,
exactly.
the other thing people come at you with, or at me sometimes. Oh, how can you can't even understand the words? Like you can't even understand the words, and sometimes you can, but
Hmm.
to me, I've always then come back to them saying, well, at least in my opinion, the vocals are actually just like another instrument to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't really
me
listen to it
too.
for what they're saying. It's like it's just another
Yeah.
instrument, you know?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's
Yeah,
like a
I listen to
guitar.
the
I mean,
lows, the highs. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it
I
is. You're
mean,
right.
yeah, you're adding distortion onto like your normal voice, and so it's just like having a pedal for a guitar, pretty much. I
hmm
mean, definitely not as easy, but uh, it's still to that instrument point. You know what I mean? So I
true
Yeah.
completely
enough.
understand that.
Yeah,
Um, I was gonna say too. Um, I lost my train of
So you
thought.
got the lows, the
no
high
worries.
screams, the mid scream. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
there's
like that
different
goes with
ones.
like the low guitar, the breakdown, low screams,
Yeah.
high guitar, you get the high screams, and it's like that's what like elevates it. And
Yeah.
you could still in like some bands I can hear some of the lyrics too, and like I write lyrics, and sometimes I
Yeah.
enunciate, and sometimes if you hear them too much, it's like I don't want to
Mhm.
hear the lyrics. I just want to.
Yeah,
Well, I
So
mean,
But
like an example I can think of is like Lorna Shore. When I
mm,
first heard it, I couldn't understand shit.
yeah,
And then I read the
yeah,
yeah.
lyrics and it's like poetry, man. And once I
yeah.
read it and I understood the lyrics, it totally changed how it sounded to me?
Oh, for
hmm
sure. Once you
hmm
hear them and read them, then they're like,
Yeah.
and then you can hear them once
And
you
then you
read them.
could
And you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
distinguish them.
now I can
Yeah.
hear them. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
also too like having stuff with like I mean just listening to music in general, having like a trained ear, to hear like tempo changes and timings. It's sort of
Mhm.
like that or pitches. Like not I understand not everybody can hear pitch, but it's something you can kind of train yourself to hear. So the more you encase yourself with that music genre, the
Yeah.
deeper you're able to dive and really be able to appreciate what you're hearing
Oh
and
yeah.
understanding it.
yeah,
For
So
Oh, for
sure.
sure. For sure.
it's definitely.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
fun.
What does y'all's evolution look like for a band like Poolside at the Flamingo? Are y'all looking for more extreme, going heavier? In the recording
Yeah.
y'all sent us, it definitely seems like a lot heavier, pretty brutal. Are y'all trying to lean more that way?
Yeah, I'm always in our history, we're always trying to be as heavy as we possibly can be. And
Hmm.
I guess that could be opinion based. I think there's a general consensus when a band is heavy, but certain things could make them more heavy to other people than others. So when I write, like personally, some of those things are changing with me. Oh, at this time in my life, I think that like this reflects real heaviness, and so this is what I'm going to
Mhm.
write, and this doesn't. But I actually think that we're just now finally settling into what music that I really love a lot. That we're like I'm listening to the music that we're writing, and I'm like, all right, like this is where it needs to be. I really
Yeah.
like this. We did back in the day when we wrote like the very first album, This One Badly, which technically I think it says like 2007 on it, but it came out in 2006, and we probably wrote most of it in 2005. And um, that for that time period at that time was like I think I felt pretty close to this way about that music at the time. Like I felt it was pretty good, and I was happy with it. Um, but then subsequent releases, Sound Below was all right, but it was like older songs we had never recorded, and we decided to finally just record them. And then like sort of quickly wrote a couple new ones to go with it. And then same with self-titled, which was a few years ago we released. That we just I felt like that was a time where we just needed to put something new out because we
Yeah.
just got
Yeah.
off a huge hiatus. We're like, yeah, let's start jamming again. Like we miss it. Like let's have fun. Let's get back together. Let's start
Mhm.
jamming again. Not that we like broke up, but we're like, let's just start jamming again. And oh, we need new material. So literally, that's the 7 song little album, and I think I wrote it in like I don't know, like 2 months. Just busted some
Mhm.
songs out and was like, yeah, here's some formulaic grindcore, deathcore songs, and it came out like a lot of people like it, and I don't mind it. But
Yeah.
after it settled with me for a while, I was like, yeah, I think we can do better than this. Like this isn't,
Yeah.
it's not bad, but we can do better. And so that 4 song Acabadora EP, I think, is the first transformation where I was like, all right, these are some really good songs. I really like these songs a lot.
Yeah.
And it's only kept, we've only had two, well, we're about to have, by the time people listen to this, we'll have 2 releases after that. And they're already like my favorite on top of that. But I still like the Commodore stuff. So I think we're finally now putting out this library that I'm super like proud of and excited to play at shows, and things like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
So I hopefully it doesn't piss off fans of the older albums too much, but I'm sort of can't wait till we have enough released where we're only playing a Commodore and then the songs off this new upcoming album.
Yeah.
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 So
It kind of
it's been
It's
an
changes the
evolution
way the
for
band.
sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
so we're always trying to get heavier. So to answer your question a little more clear without rambling on, we there are elements of different types of metal in the 2 new songs that haven't really been present before, and that's like there's more slam in it,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then we brought back some of the old school that we used to do in our old stuff, like grindy, sort of more thrashy stuff. And so the way I feel about how we should be heavy now is a healthy mixture of these all these elements and that's
Yeah.
how I think that we're unique and sort of always have been. Like a lot of deathcore bands sound alike and people still call us deathcore, but I don't even know if that's correct
Yeah.
anymore. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
definitely
Grindcore,
some of it is.
deathcore.
Like we have some deathcore, and Here Comes the Meat Wagon. There's like a whole deathcore section toward the end with some tremolo riffs and stuff. Uh, but there's also slam and there's grind in it, and there's
Mhm.
like thrash and there's some hardcore
Breakdowns.
elements.
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to like I'm trying to compose these songs that mix all of that together. But also I can't we can't we have to like keep it changing all the time, which you can tell it does. And
Yeah.
then
We never go back to the same part a lot.
make sure we're not doing the same thing for too long. Like we're not and when I'm in doubt, I always play fast for longer.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, is it like I'm writing a song? Oh, do we need a breakdown yet? Not yet. Let's add another fast part. Like, oh, okay, now it's time for a breakdown. And it's like, all right, now we got to play fast for like a whole minute because I don't want the whole thing to be breakdowns,
Yeah.
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 And we'll talk together. Like once you write it, I'll talk with you. Once you write the lyrics,
Yeah.
we'll like say, I'll come to sing this part. And then you're like, no, I want you to do it this way. I'm like, okay, well, we should do that this way then. And that's what helps. It kind of like perfects it once me and you get together and do it.
Yeah.
And then the lyrics kind of or the vocals kind of complete what you wrote, you know. So
Hmm.
Yeah, but I just
yeah,
love how I think it's unique. I could be wrong. There's some other bands that we take some inspiration from, but now when I listen to music, um, parts just seem too long to me now. Like all our
Hmm.
parts are so short and shifting at all times, especially in these two new songs and the Acabador EP. That I think that's our jam now, and it always was in the back in the old days. And so that's sort of what I consider heavy. Like you're just getting fucking hammered. You can't guess what's next,
Yeah.
and you just find yourself in these like really fucking heavy moments, and you're like, holy! Like there's a couple parts in that brand new song I just sent over where it's fast, and you're like, what the fuck's happening? Then all of a sudden it's like bam, bam, and it's like banging you, and you're like, what the fuck? And then before you can really comprehend what happened, it's like back to blast beats again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
some
Oh.
sometimes it'll mess with the crowd a lot. Well, always does when we got like a nice breakdown. We got the hardcore dancers going nuts and stuff, and then they think another part's coming, but then we switch it up and do like a fast like grind part. And like,
Yeah.
whoa, wait, what the hell? And they're like, oh, circle pit now, or what should we do now? You know,
Yeah.
it was just like
Yeah,
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 exactly.
so it
yeah,
throws them
Keeping
off
it
too. But they're
moving.
like, whoa,
yeah. So
which is
Um,
what
that's my
we
definition
keep
of heavy.
guessing.
It's like always changing and not playing anything too long, and we got to have the breakdowns, but the grind as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who were some of y'all's influences as a band on y'all's earlier music?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, the big one was for me early on was See You Next Tuesday. They were like I think pioneering the sound that we were most similar to.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, See You Next Tuesday. But then they wouldn't do like breakdowns though, so they would have like sort of the grindiness that we wanted.
Okay.
And then so for the deathcore side of things, it was a lot of early, like very early Carnifex and
Okay, yeah,
maybe even very early Suicide Silence.
yeah. Hmm.
We actually played with
I
Carnifex.
love Full Hell too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good band. Super sick.
we've played with them before too, but
Yeah, we
we
played with them there.
actually
We cut a channel from them too, actually.
played with
Nice.
Carnifex before I knew who they were. So we like
Hmm.
I found out about them at a show we were playing with them when they were sort of just starting out,
Hmm.
and I remember seeing them CD and their style of like they were one of the first ones. There was a couple others, but they were one of the first ones to do like the breakdown and then do the breakdown slower.
Yeah.
Dead in My Arms. That was that Dead in My Arms
Yeah,
CD that came out. That was like 2000. What? That was like 2006
that
or
was probably
seven.
like 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that those were a couple of my bigger early influences. See You Next Tuesday and a couple other grind bands like Ed Gein and Daughters and As the Sun
Daughters,
Sets and
Tower of Rome,
Tower of Rome. Some of these
Ro
other
Robinson,
yeah, Robinson. Some of these super grindy bands too from back in the
Siopus.
day. Psyopus was another one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say See You
So
Next Tuesday was like my favorite, but then like it brought it full circle with like, I mean, like Job for a Cowboy. We listened to a
Yeah.
Yeah.
lot. Despised Icon. Chelsea Grin, even like Chelsea Grin's
Yeah.
earlier
Oh yeah.
stuff. I mean,
yeah,
we love
they
Chelsea Grin
made
too.
them and I think Lorna. Well, Chelsea Grin more so made like
Destination of
very
Eden.
a very like they had a very big evolution, right? Like I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
they completely changed midway through their careers, and I feel like that's a little bit what we're doing with some of the new stuff. Not in the
Yeah.
And
same way that they're doing it, but
there's
yeah.
a lot, I feel like, of in between like fans for Lorna Shore.
Hmm.
There's definitely two sides of the coin with them. I mean, for one, I really like their music. I got to see them
Yeah.
uh probably my favorite show ever was
Yeah, it
with
was them,
Gojira,
Mastodon.
Mastodon, and
Yeah.
Lorna
Mm,
Shore. The Mega
okay.
Monsters tour. That was super sick.
Yeah.
Um, I wish they at our show in Houston they kind of had their sound low because they were the openers for it,
Oh,
Mm,
really?
and it really took away because they played their like Pain Remains trilogy,
mm.
which is like just I would blast that on repeat all the time,
Yeah.
and they had their sound was just low, and so you couldn't really and
That's too
Couldn't
bad.
get that full
oh
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
yeah,
They've
wasn't the
been
same, but
I enjoy them a lot too, except I know you mentioned you like black metal and I
mhm.
don't like I don't like too much synth though, and I think some of their newer
Yeah.
stuff has too much synth for me in it. But I still like them. They're
They're
great.
amazing
Yeah.
though. I mean, like Will Ramos's voice, oh my God. And they're
Yeah.
just heavy freaking doomy parts are insane.
Yeah.
And like I didn't get into them. Like that was kind of because they were kind of like older stuff, and then they were kind of. I know they've been together for a while now, but then I've only like the last what like 7 or 8 years I've gotten into them, and they were like one of like
Mhm.
the beginning bands, like like
Yeah.
Chelsea Grin was, and Tony Danza, Tap Dance, and um like Job for Cowboy and like Carnifex, but like they're like I love seeing like them Lord of Shores coming out, and yeah, like
Mhm.
Spite and all
Yeah.
Yeah.
these
Spide's badass.
Brand of
Yeah.
Sacrifice,
Well, I
Body
definitely and
Snatcher. So
all these
there's
bands are definitely
yeah,
like I listen to a whole group of different bands than I used to
Mhm.
back when we first
yeah.
started.
So now it's
Because they
different.
have changed, but
Yeah.
like I don't really, even though it was an influence, I don't really go back and listen to much old Carnifex much at all anymore because I think they changed for the worse too. But I don't listen to like a lot of that old stuff anymore. If it comes up on random, then that's fine and I
Yeah,
enjoy it, of course.
Mhm.
But I don't really seek it out as much these days. I like to sort of keep up on what's coming out, and so our
Yeah.
influences even more recently changed a little. I'll hear a part, like Peeling Flesh, I've been listening to a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
I'll hear like a part in Peeling Flesh. I'm like, oh, we have to like do something similar to that. I never like copy anything, but I'm like, oh, we have to like that feel they're getting out of it. Like we have to
yeah,
do
Yeah.
something
sick.
similar. And so like, a lot of Peeling Flesh, a lot of Snuffed on Sight,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of
Have
like
y'all heard of a buttholectomy?
I have, yep, I love some
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh
Butthole
yeah,
Yeah.
Ectomy.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
We
Sick.
Yep.
just
Uh
interviewed them recently, so
Yeah.
yeah, they're cool
really
dudes.
nice. Yeah.
Super
Dude,
cool
that's
dudes.
fucking yeah. So it's
Newer
crazy,
one,
man.
Body Box is a newer one we've been
Body
jamming.
box is cool.
Yeah,
Super
and
sick shit.
but then some of the favorites too. So the drummer from Body Snatcher actually mixed and mastered these latest two tracks for us.
Oh,
And
No way.
yeah, and they're one of my like favorite go-tos as well. I love Body Snatcher. Just
Yeah.
I think they're super unique in how they mix hardcore with like deathcore, you know.
Yeah.
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 We got to see them. I don't know if it was, I think it was
Yeah,
maybe
we
only
saw
once.
them with
Yeah.
Gate Creeper. It was that show.
Okay, yeah. We actually
Yeah.
played with Gate Creeper and Full of Hell in the same show.
Oh,
It was
Really?
that was a good show. Yeah. Yeah.
That was
Those
badass.
guys are all
Mention that.
super, super sick. Those are just
Yeah.
great bands and great people for
That was a
sure.
Yeah.
wild show. I remember that
Yeah.
one, man. God.
Yeah, in a little bar. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I definitely listen to there's different influences popping in now, but those were the ones from like back in the day. But I
yeah.
still will get down to like some Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. They're super unique in their style.
We channeled from them too, for sure. We
Yeah.
could
But
tell
I think
some
we're in
like
a day and
guitar
age
parts.
where we the genre's been around for a while now where there are a lot of bands that are sort of sounding the same a little bit. It's
Yeah.
like they're not
After
quite
each
as
song,
unique as they used to be. Um,
Yeah.
like
so
they put out albums that'll sound the same and stuff.
well, not so much
Yeah.
that. It's like bands will sound the same as other bands. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh, they're
true,
doing the
true
thing
enough.
again.
Which I still love them. They're heavy as
Yeah, I
hell.
find myself loving them, but then I can't like recall, oh, are we listening to In Gloom or Boundaries? Or are we listening to like
Yeah.
fucking Boundaries or what's the one I always get them mixed up with? I'll think of it. But
I was gonna say, I mean, they can have like different sounds, but sometimes like it's the same with me for like some TV shows. They can have like the same formula. And so they might sound different,
yeah.
tone and everything like that, but you can kind of figure out like, okay, like a breakdown will be here or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a fry here and you can kind of hear it before it starts and
Oh,
it's the bands
yeah.
that really catch you off guard, like you guys, that kind of grab your attention and make you like, step back and do like
Yeah.
a double take.
Everything's like
Yeah.
real jolly, and then you just get fucking smacked.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
yeah,
appreciate that. That's one of
Yeah.
my goals too, is to strive to be a band that is like unique enough that whenever a song comes on, you're like, oh, this is Poolside. Like, yeah, this
Yeah.
Yeah.
is,
yeah.
and
Little
and
stand
I,
out.
yeah, and again, like that all happened to me with certain bands where I'm like, which one is this again? And like what you just said, it'll get to a certain part, or I'll realize like, oh, the guitar tone oh,
Yeah.
this is the guitar tone from like the Spite album. That's right. So
Hmm.
that's,
But
you
then
know,
there's ones, yeah, I'll like know like I'll know who like Knocked Loose is because the singer
Yeah.
has a
yeah, of
type of
course.
scream, and
Yeah.
then like
Yeah, of
even
course.
with like, oh, this is Knocked Loose, and like with Spite I'll know it's Spite because he has that
Yeah.
like
He's
kind
got
of like
a,
that deathly
yeah.
high scream too and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
oh,
Hmm.
even with Crown Magnetar that we are good friends with us, like I know how Dan sings. I like, oh yeah, the like deep
Yeah.
growl, you know. So
Hmm.
it's like,
See,
but then
they're
some bands,
one,
yeah,
like you mentioned songs same within, like Crown is one that I think they are very distinctly Crown Magnetar. I think that a lot of their
yeah,
songs could blend together. You could be like, oh, what song is this? Like they
Hmm.
sound a lot alike, but the formulas are a lot of the same, but they're distinctly like Crown Magnetar, you know. So you're like, oh,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, this is
Their
Crown for
sound
sure.
You like know
is
them.
Yeah.
signature
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, if y'all could implant a message into every listener's brain subliminally after they hear your EP, what would it be?
Man, I don't,
Man.
that's a tough one.
Is it even, going that deep? Is this just something that, y'all are just trying to improve upon, or y'all maybe have something behind it?
You know,
Just say, hey, do you want to be entertained? Listen to this.
that's
Or
what we're I
we
agree
just
with
love to
that.
entertain.
We're out here to entertain. We're not out here to get super deep. Honestly, that's
Hmm.
at the core. That's why we're called Poolside Flamingo. There's a longer story to that, but there and then
Hmm.
there's that's why a lot of our song names are ridiculous, and
Yeah.
there's some ridiculous samples in some of our shit. It's like let's just have a good time. Like we don't take ourselves too seriously. We don't when
Yeah.
we take band
Hmm.
photos, we're smiling most of the time. When we so maybe that message would be like hey, have fun and like
Have
be
Yeah.
fun,
entertained.
be entertained,
Yeah.
and like just think of all the types of music that you like. If you like slam, breakdowns, grind, deathcore, whatever, all this is wrapped into one little present for you in this one song. Here you go.
Yeah. There you go.
Mainly my goal, if someone hears us, and I don't know if this counts as like a thought to be put into their mind. I guess it does. Our goal, like the best compliment we ever get when we play a live show, is just sort of that like shock and like, what the fuck was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So you
And
want like
that's
a stink face or some shit.
yeah, yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
stink, yeah, we'll always
Like,
take the stink face. Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
Confused
holy
stink
fuck,
face.
that
yeah.
was
yeah,
heavy.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
heavy.
yeah,
That was something. I don't, that was something else.
yeah,
For
Mhm.
sure.
yeah,
Which is what I wanted. Yeah, it's like, yep, there you go, man. Great times.
yeah.
And so, kind of going back a little bit to y'all's name, we know y'all are fans of the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yep.
Uh, if y'all could add one of your songs in the movie, which one would it be, and what scene would y'all add it in?
Oh, jeez.
I actually
See,
Yeah.
and
think,
that's of course where our name came from was poolside
yeah,
Hmm.
at the
yeah.
Flamingo was from Fear Loathing. God,
I
I
think.
think it would
Do you
go
have
for it.
one?
You go first.
Well,
Yeah,
I
you go.
think the song that probably matches up best with the movie is off of our very first album. It's called "100 Miles to Flagstaff," and it's an instrumental. There's no singing in it, and the reason it even exists is sort of dumb. We back then when we wrote that album, we our songs are still pretty short, but back then they were like a minute or less. Most of them,
Yeah.
some of them got
Hmm.
over a minute. We're just very grindy, and the we got on a small label out of Chicago called Pitomite Productions, and that's who put that album out. And the requirement for them to put our album out was that it had to be at least 30 minutes long to be a full-length album. And we had like 12 or 13 songs, and it still wasn't 30 minutes long. And we were like, fuck. And so we were like, well, we got to do some time filler.
40-minute
And
song, 40-second songs.
yeah, and there's a lot of samples in that album which we wanted to have, but some of them drag on pretty long to fill time.
Hmm.
Like there's the whole fucking the whole menu. Like we put in the DVD for Evil Dead and let the menu run through its whole cycle, and like that's one soundbite that we used at the end of the
Yeah.
song. And one of the things we did was, well, let's just write like an instrumental right now, like really quick. And we literally wrote that song in a couple days, and it just repeats a lot of the same parts over and over, but in different like styles.
Hmm.
And it's sort of monotonous. It's like drags on. And we actually had a reviewer point it out and loved it. He's like, this is what they should be going for. Like this is the sound they need, and like this is an amazing song. And again, we literally wrote it in like 2 days, and there's no vocals to it. But
Yeah.
because it has that vibe, I think it would
Yeah.
belong in the movie the best. And I don't know where though. I mean, maybe when they're driving in the desert.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking driving in the desert with
Yeah.
Benicio del Toro and Johnny
Maybe
Depp's there
without
with
Tobey Maguire, like when
Tobey
they're just
Maguire
the
in the
two of
back.
them.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let's
So that,
yeah,
yeah.
and they have to be listening to the song where we had the sample in, or with Johnny Depp saying, "Here, I'm here, poolside at
Yeah, we did
Flamingo."
Yeah.
use that sample in a different
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
What
But
song is
Okay.
that? Which one was that? I can't
that
remember.
was I think the second song. I think it was
Not if you want to keep your spleen. No.
yeah, I think it was Not If You Want to Keep Your Spleen.
Yeah,
It was,
maybe it
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That's a American Psycho
Reference. Yeah, a lot of
reference.
song
But
titles from American Psycho on that first album, a lot of samples from Saturday Night Live, American Psycho, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. The
maybe.
new
Yeah.
we're huge horror fans. And we we use a lot of horror samples, but comedy ones too. And the newer album that we're building up to with these releases is called This Overwhelming Horror, and the artwork for it is very not from any specific horror movie, but you can see elements from specific horror movies in it. Like the artist created it on his own, but didn't steal from any movies, but like there's elements of the movies. It's a very horror themed album artwork, and we're trying to include going old school and include as many horror movie samples as possible. And so we with Here Comes the Meat Wagon, actually that the title and the sample is from a comedy, obviously it's from Tommy Boy, but
Oh
um
yeah.
there is a sample in it from an old horror movie called Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
So we're trying
But
to like
But
use
it is
those again.
it's kind of funny. It kind of fits because the lyrics that I wrote for that song, "Here Comes the Meat Wagon," is about like an apocalyptic happening of like bodies being stacked and being carted away and stuff. It's like, hey,
So,
it's true. It's within the name of the song.
but I don't know. Do you
Yeah.
have another song or scene you would put it in for
I mean,
Fear and
oh
Loathing
man,
Society?
there's so
I
many
haven't
good
watched the movie in a
scenes
while. I
when
need to
when they're like
rewatch it.
huffing like the ether and going all over the place in like that carnival area and stuff, and it's just like rampage and I don't know. I think I'm trying to think. Maybe a slow one for the ladies. We have a song called "A Slow One for the Ladies" that's like really fast and it's like
Yeah.
45 seconds long. So maybe like during all that
That
chaoticness.
that
Uh,
song title, by the way, to help answer your previous question, was solely for a live performance because I just wanted him to announce a song. All right, this next one's a slow one for the ladies, and then it's like one of our fastest songs.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
or with
You
the
know,
fucking golf shoes,
Yeah.
Commodore
yeah.
out there.
Do y'all guys have any weird rituals that y'all do before you go on stage?
Man, um, I used to have a spit cup because I'd be so phlegmy on stage after singing and stuff. I've now learned talking to other singers that when I have my phlegm just to swallow it down. So I
Ah.
Yeah.
that's really sick and disgusting. But I used to be really phlegmy and gurgle up. But I used to spit cup, then I'd gargle like some like water, like some like warm water, and get everything ready. But now I really
Mhm.
don't do anything. I don't have any rituals. We kind of just just
Yeah,
we get into the right we get in the right mindset.
I
Yeah.
don't really do anything either. I used to every now and then. I haven't even done that lately. I used to pull out the guitar and just run through dry a couple songs, and
Mhm.
I don't really even do that too much anymore. I might if I'm feeling rusty on something, but I don't even do that anymore, really.
Yeah,
So
we
no,
just
we're pretty boring. Just get up there and play.
yeah, get up there and do it. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Is
and then
there
I
like
kind of get
any
that I get nerves still though, but you get in
Yeah,
that mindset after you're nervous, which means you're having a fun time, and then once you start playing that first song and the crowd gets into it, you're like, "Oh, nerves are gone." Then you're just like in it,
yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all
great, but
have like a music genre or album or song that y'all kind of listen to? I mean, before y'all go on stage, anything like that?
oh man, sometimes we'll do like calmer music, like we'll do like some Frank Sinatra,
Nice.
and
I
play
wouldn't
it.
say
Oh,
I wouldn't say we listen to it like right before we go on though. Just as a
Well,
band
we'll
when we're
listen to it like
driving in the
driving to the venue.
yeah, when
So
we're
Hmm.
driving in the van, I guess the default usually, if we are doing music, would be Rudy, our drummer. He's like very up on bands and he's always seeking out new bands. And Scotty and I
Mm.
don't really do that anymore. Like well, he has a kid too, but he's older and stuff. But we're just like, I don't know. I just don't have time to like be looking up new bands anymore. So, Rudy just sends them to me all the time. And then we'll be driving the van and he'll just play like bands that he doesn't think we've heard yet, And
Yeah, and they're like, "Who the fuck's
so,
this?"
well, that's how I'll find a lot of new music is he'll just send it to me or he'll play it while we're riding the van. But if we're doing
Mhm.
a drive that has any length to it, we just put on podcasts like most of the time.
Okay.
And usually it's like last podcast on the left, it's like true crime or,
Yeah.
Mhm.
some kind of fucked up
We'll have some like
podcast.
there's be some like Weezer and some Frank Sinatra in there, and but some calm. But then we'll just listen to like
Yeah.
our genre too.
I happen to listen to like a lot of just on the daily, like plenty of other music, but not like I don't listen to country. I don't listen to a
Yeah.
couple others, but not that there's anything wrong with that. But I'll listen to yeah, Sinatra a lot, like that era of music, and classical. I'll listen to a decent amount, and then like alternative. Well, I like
Yeah.
'90s alternative, Nirvana and
Mhm.
Weezer and stuff like that. I'm not,
Stone
and then I
Temple
don't like
Pilots.
much in between though. Like if you try to get like heavier than Weezer, but not as heavy as like our genre or deathcore, then I'm not
Mhm.
really into it. I'm
Yeah.
not really like screaming and singing in the same songs, and I'm weird like that. I don't know.
No,
There's some that are okay, but I don't know.
Are
for
you
Yeah.
not a
sure.
For sure.
Disturbed fan? Is that what you're
No, I
saying? You
fucking
aren't a
new metal.
Disturbed fan?
I do not listen to new metal ever. I cannot
Yeah.
stand new metal. There was a time in my life I did, but now I can't listen to it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Everyone's got some
we
preference.
grew up with like the
Yeah.
Slipknots and Cold Chamber and Slayer and
Yeah, and I don't
Pantera.
Yeah.
listen to any of it anymore. Well, I
Yeah.
wouldn't
I'll
call
still
Pantera new
listen to
metal or Slayer,
Pantera
but
and
Yeah.
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Cool. I thought you had a question, bro.
No, go
No?
ahead. I think we're
Okay.
gonna move
Well,
into quick fire
yeah.
Oh yeah, quickfire
Uh,
sounds good. This is fun, guys. Yeah.
for
Well,
sure.
appreciate it. It can be both of y'all like simultaneously. It doesn't matter. We've done this a few times, but pretty much I'm gonna give y'all an option, this versus that, and as quickly as possible. Don't even think about it. The first thing that comes to your mind, just
all right,
spot it, spurt it
all
You
out.
right,
If
ready to
y'all
go
have
first? Then I
differences,
go?
we'll settle it. Yeah. If y'all want to
sure,
rotate, that's fine.
yeah. I'll go, then you go. We'll rotate.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
All right.
That gives me more
All
time.
right. Cool. Blast beats or breakdowns?
breakdowns.
Breakdowns.
All right. Vinyl, cassette, CD, or stream?
Stream. I'm not picky.
TD.
Okay.
All right.
Favorite band shirt you own?
Don't own barely any anymore.
Sepultura roots.
Hell yeah, dude.
Tour
Super
shirt.
sick.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
Dope as fuck.
think I
That's
still
like
have my
96.
I think I still have my old Pantera Cowboys from Hell tour shirt. I think I have it
Cool.
somewhere.
Super
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
First thing you do post show.
Uh, beer.
Um oh
Ice cold
God.
beer.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have it not every time, but I would have like maybe a drink, like a whiskey. I'm not a beer guy.
Well,
I'd have a
I'll go to
whiskey.
the merch stand and wipe my head with a towel.
Yeah, I'm the one trying to fucking pack up our rack as fast
Yeah.
as possible. But yeah,
Huge bath
usually
towel.
these days, because we're older, we just go back to the hotel and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Or get some food.
Uh,
Yeah.
Most underrated heavy band right now.
Oh, oh God. Spite.
Really underrated? They're pretty big. I don't know.
Yeah. Carnifex?
No.
Pretty
Crown.
vague.
Crown.
Yeah, I do like our buddies in Crown. We're like really good friends with Crown Magnetar, and but I think they are getting
Yeah,
what's
they
due
are
to them.
getting up
But
there.
yeah, they're getting
Mm.
up there. But yeah, they're amazing.
All right.
I just
Best
said Spite.
album
Yeah.
to play during a thunderstorm.
Uh, uh, Between the Buried and Me. Silent Circus.
The G code, Peeling Flesh,
Oh
Drown
yeah.
Out the Thunder.
Oh yeah.
Dream venue to play.
Uh, Red
Someone,
Rocks.
someone's
Red Rocks, cool.
basement. I
Someone's
love our
Someone's
we love
basement.
our
Okay.
basement show.
Yeah, I say like the biggest
We've
venue
played
in
a
Red Rocks,
couple.
and you say
We've
someone's
played a couple
basement.
of basements, and they're always just fucking insane.
All right. All right,
I
and I
just want to
got
get
the
crowd
last
surfed and
question.
add Red
That's
Rocks to the
true.
top of the building.
That's
Anyways,
true.
That would be dope
All
as
right.
shit.
Uh,
Yeah.
Last question. One city you'd play again in a heartbeat.
I was
Spokane.
gonna mention this before. Well, Spokane has been good to us. Houston, we come down to Houston a decent amount.
Yeah,
We
Mhm.
got some boys down there, and we always have a good time.
for
So,
sure.
Sweet.
Cocaine
Uh,
Titans.
Cocaine
Houston.
Titans. You guys know Cocaine
okay.
Titans? Have you seen them
I will
around
check them
ever?
out now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta check
they're
them.
like grindcore,
For sure.
hardcore
I'll
guys.
check that
They're
out.
awesome.
Yeah,
Oh
they're
yeah.
They used to be called Slug in the Sun, I think. Yeah.
yeah, they've had a couple names, but Cocaine Titans, they're really good. We were just down there last year to play with them,
Mhm.
and good friends of ours from back in the day when we used to tour a lot. And yeah, cool
We
guys.
played Spokane like 4 times back in the day, and there was always jam-packed
Off the
shows.
hook,
So
yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Super
For
sick. If
sure.
you guys are ever down again playing, just
Let us
let us
know.
know. We'll find
Yeah, I
out
will.
and
We'll be down for
pop
Yes,
out.
sure.
we will.
We seem to hit Texas more than anything else, almost because of our buddies in Cocaine Titans, and then we've done that route a lot, and so we end
We
Mhm.
have
up,
a buddy in Corpus Christi too that books
yeah,
us.
Okay.
Corpus books
That's
us
not far
a
from
good
me.
amount. Yeah,
We
There's
so
could, we could we could do a whole week in Texas. Just
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
Texas.
it's so easy. Just cities, and then it would take you like so long just to travel there, you know? You're
Yeah,
yeah,
going 4 hours to each freaking city. It takes
yeah.
forever
yeah,
to get
Yeah.
I know,
around.
man.
I mean, we're used
God.
to
Yeah.
that being in Colorado.
Mhm.
We just did like a long weekend a few weeks ago where we went like Western Colorado to Utah to Idaho to Wyoming. And
Wyoming.
of course, our
Yeah.
van transmission blew and it was a pain in the ass, but
Dude, we
Ah,
blew our
shit.
tranny. God.
yeah.
That's pretty much it for us guys. We don't really have any more questions lined up, but if
Sweet.
y'all have any shout outs or last words for the fans, any social media plugs, anything like that, if y'all want to shout them out, go ahead.
Yeah, you
Go
just
for it.
follow us everywhere at Poolside at the Flamingo. We're really only active on mainly Instagram, but that shit gets shared to Facebook too. You can check that out. We have a TikTok, but God, I haven't updated it. So follow us all there if you want to. We mentioned for the show, Scotty and I do have a horror podcast. If you guys want to check it out,
Yeah.
it's called The Cult Classic Horror Show. You can check that out. So yeah, yeah,
And
and
you could
then
check us out. We have some upcoming shows coming up
Hmm.
in
we do,
Cheyenne,
yeah. We're
Wyoming, or
yeah,
Casper. Sorry,
Casper, Wyoming. Yeah, we're playing. Well, we're playing in Denver at the end of the month with Crown, our buddies in Crown Magnetar, and
at the Marquee.
then we're playing up in Casper, Wyoming on July 26th, and then we got a couple more, I think, still in Colorado after that. But yeah, just poolside at theflamingo.com. We always put our shows there once we have everything confirmed, and then check out the new releases. Just if you would add us,
Oh
follow
yeah,
us, and add us on Spotify, we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah,
super
So
sick.
heck yeah. This is
Oh
fun, guys. Thanks for
yeah,
having us.
thank
Yeah,
you.
we
Seriously,
yeah,
appreciate y'all
thanks
coming
for
on.
joining.
yeah,
Yeah, it
man.
means a
Of
lot to us.
course, you guys.
Cool. Well, until
All
next
Thank
right.
time.
you. Until
Yep.
next
Cool.
time.
Take care.
Later, guys.
Later.